And here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports in association with roundforroundboxing.com, the new gaming development, www.roundforroundboxing.com. This new boxing game, a few days ago, we brought you the exclusive to the first headshots and graphical look at Gerald McLennan, the G-Man. We showed that to you. And of course, everything round for round boxing you can check out right here. And we've got another exclusive for you this week on Round for Round. We've got a massive show for you. This particular show is going to be for the boxing connoisseurs. You're going to love this show that comes up this week. So www.roundforroundforboxing.com. Also, in association with Three Kings Boxing. All your latest boxing news, check it out. www.threekingsboxing.com. Check them out on Facebook as well. www.threekingsboxing.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate when you do subscribe. Also, check out our Facebook page, BWTM Sports. So before I continue the show, apologies. Loads of stuff happening behind the scenes at BWTM Sports, which soon we'll reveal to you. But yeah, it's been really busy, hectic. Shout out to everyone at the training cave with Jack Sunderland out there in Birstall, not too far from the city centre of Leeds in West Yorkshire. Also, as well, massive shout out to Josh Goddard and Zaya Taylor and Ishmael Fontaine from Worthing Thunder, the basketball team last night. They played against the USA select team and they won well. So that was the first basketball game that I watched, filmed. It was great. And congratulations, guys. So shout out to you as well for that. Now, let's move on. I was laying in my bed, as you do, and I was thinking about this whole Anthony Joshua, Alexander Povetkin, Daniel Dubois triangle, where the stories have come out of camp that Daniel Dubois has given Alexander Povetkin a black eye, and left side of his face is bruised, and he's getting beat up in sparring. If that is the case, now for me, people are like, oh no, this is terrible. This is terrible for Alexander Povetkin. He's getting beat up in sparring. No, hold your horses a second. Don't get alarmed. But be concerned. Be very concerned. If I'm Anthony Joshua, this is just an alternative perspective, okay? You can take it or let it alone. This is my personal opinion. After watching many years of boxing, if I, as Anthony Joshua, have heard that Daniel Dubois has been beating up Povetkin in sparring, I don't get excited about that. And I'll tell you why I don't get excited about that. Because, to me, that means that Povetkin is putting himself in a position to get himself in the best possible shape. I mean, there are guys that are bringing poor sparring partners for big title fights that really don't have the ambition to want to become champion. And they'll bring in sparring partners to make them look good. Daniel Dubois, as we all know, is a big puncher. Daniel Dubois, we know, is, a guy that a lot of people have a lot of belief in. Now, remember, this is the same Daniel Dubois that rumoured to have knocked out Joshua in sparring. So let's not take away the ability of Daniel Dubois, but also let's not overestimate the ability of Daniel Dubois, because I think Daniel Dubois, 19 years old, is a good fighter. But I'm not buying, personally, I'm not buying the hogwash that Daniel Dubois is beating up Povetkin in sparring. And even if he is, it would not be the first time. I remember, take your minds back, for those of you who've been watching boxing that long or longer, Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. And I heard rumors coming out of Holyfield's camp that Holyfield was getting regularly beaten up in sparring by David Tua. But Holyfield said at the time, I need to get myself mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for what I was going to face in Mike Tyson. They know point you going to sparring and preparing for the biggest fight of your career. This is it. This is the opportunity for you to turn your career around. For really, this is Povetkin's career-defining fight. The last career-defining fight for Alexander Povetkin, let's remember, was the Vladimir Klitschko fight. And in the Vladimir Klitschko fight, Vladimir Klitschko was holding on to Povetkin for dear life. Joshua doesn't have that sort of a holding game. Well, I'll break down the fight later. For me, I was actually pleased to hear that Alexander Povetkin is getting quality sparring. Alexander Povetkin is testing himself. Alexander Povetkin is going through the fire. And that's what you've got to do. If you're serious about being unified heavyweight champion of the world, you've got to go through fire. And I'm sure that when Povetkin was preparing to fight Price, similar things were probably happening to him. But nobody talked about it because it was just David Price. So, am I alarmed? No. I'm not alarmed. And and the other thing is, this is a Russian fighter. This isn't a British fighter. And Russians generally like to keep things behind closed doors. So for me, I want to know, why the hell has this come out in the press? Why has it come out that Povetkin's getting a black eye and getting beaten up in sparring? To me, I'm not falling for the okie doke. Yeah, he might have got bruised up in sparring. You're getting in the ring with a heavy hitting Daniel Dubois. Gonna happen. Yeah, you get a black eye. So what? You know that Povetkin's putting himself in a position. And they didn't probably tell you the whole story. You don't know. So what happened is Daniel Dubois just walked in the ring and he hit Povetkin. He hit him, and that was that. And he got a black eye and he got the face bruised up. No, that tells me that Alexander Povetkin, as he does, he likes to sit in the pocket, just outside, just in the pocket, and let his own hands go. So in that process of Daniel Dubois hitting Alexander Povetkin, I'm sure Povetkin laid out his own blueprint of what he has to do. He knows he has to. His best way to beat Anthony Joshua is to engage. He's got to make Joshua engage with him and then let his own punches go. If you look at Alexander Povetkin, his way he sets up attacks, he is a great left hooker and a great right hander. He can knock you out with one punch power with the left hook or the right hand at any level, at journeyman level, at any level he can knock you out because he's that quality of fighter. And he's been in the top 3 for a long time. Only lost one fight in his career. Alexander is a dangerous opponent, very dangerous. We have to take into consideration age, yes, but everyone talks about the punch that Price hurt him with. Look at what happened to David Price at the end. He got hit with one left hook or right hand, and Price was out on his feet before he hit the deck. And you saw Povetkin is a murderous finisher. I'm going to make a statement here, and a lot of people are going to think I'm talking rubbish. But Alexander Povetkin today is the closest thing we've got to a modern day Mike Tyson. I say that. He doesn't move his head the way Mike moves his head as dramatically as Mike. But he's the kind of guy who's going to get in range, not scared to engage, and wants to let his own hands go. Mike did the same thing. Mike would get up close, but Mike would use his head movement to get in, and his jab. Look at Povetkin. Povetkin's got a good jab. He doesn't move his head like Mike, and he isn't as explosive like Mike like that. But he hits just as hard, and he engages more. He engages more, right? And win percentage against top guys. You've got to say Povetkin's got a better win percentage against top guys than Mike did against top guys and knocking top caliber guys out. So I think Povetkin is a very, very, very dangerous opponent. He's better on the inside than Parker, better on the inside than Takam, punches harder than Takam and Parker, punches harder than Dillian White, and a genuine gold medalist. There was no matter where Povetkin fought in the world, he would have been a gold medalist. And this is the thing, a gold medalist, one defeat on their record, an experienced guy, and Povetkin has probably got the mindset where he's thinking, you know what, Joshua's kind of raw. He's kind of raw as a pro. and he'll look at Dubois and think, yeah, big guy, similar size, punches hard. I need to be engaging with guys like that. So for me, the sparring that Povetkin's got going into the fight with Anthony Joshua, for me, that's great news. Now, Derek Chisora, when he was preparing to fight Tyson Fury the second time, they were sparring hard. They were sparring hard. So, you know, 3 weeks out from the fight, to fight Tyson Fury for the second fight. Then I was there, I was watching it. That was hard sparring. Marius Vac and Ustinov were pushing Chisora against the ropes, and Chisora would bounce off the ropes and throw his left hook and throw up combinations. So for me, personal opinion, only personal opinion, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But from what I see here and from what I hear here, I don't know how much of those stories are believable coming out of Russia. Being Russia, generally, Russians are generally secretive about everything. And if it's a leak, how much of a leak is it? And how much of it is genuine? And how much of it is BS? And how much of it is to get into the mindset of Anthony Joshua to believe, yeah, you got beat up by Dubois. Sparring camp, training camp made me well. And it doesn't really matter. World championships are not won in the gym. They're won on fight night. So those people who think Povetkin's passed and shot, well, I don't believe that for 1 second. I mean, he might be older, but, you know, he's still got, and he's Olympic gold medalist, something that Parker, Takam, and Dillian White haven't done. So it's gold medalist. It's Klitschko, Joshua, and Povetkin. So the gold medal, that helps a lot. And the experience. For me, Povetkin is the best fighter that Joshua has fought to date. Don't tell me about Klitschko, who came off a loss to Tyson Fury. Don't tell me about Klitschko, who had been on the sat in the city for a year or so. Don't tell me about him and then came back and fought Joshua with no warm-up fight. Talk to me about Povetkin, whose last fight was against David Price, who was a guy of similar height and punching power to Joshua. Talk to me about that. And, you know, Povetkin is a dangerous man, and nobody is running up to fight Povetkin. And let me tell you something: this is a mandatory for Joshua. There's no choice in that. They had to face him. So that's that for me. That's my perspective on things. Yes, Trap Media. Good to see you. The unbiased boxing duck says they're all probably beating up Povetkin, not just Dubois. I heard Dubois beat on AG2. Yep, tough sparring is always good. Totally agree with you there, Trap Media. AG looking slimmer, that's great. What's up, World Breaker Fighting? My brother, how you doing? Price got knocked out by Tony Thompson and Ergen Tepper. Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate that piece of information. Robert Townsend, this is a seriously good fight. Povetkin is very, very good, underrated, but he's very susceptible to left hook, and I guarantee that Joshua will be working on that non-stop. Klitschko was super experienced. He schooled Joshua. Povetkin has a very good chance for sure. I agree. Yes. Good morning, Mr. Boblam from Truth and Facts About Boxing. Hope you well. Oh, Truth and Facts About Sports Talk. Good to see you in the room. Ibrahim says Povetkin ain't done. He will raise his game for the occasion. Want Joshua to win. Povetkin ain't no joke. Trust me, he's done. He's off the peds, so he can't hold his own against the elite level anymore. Let me explain something to you. Peds or no peds, Povetkin is still a skilled fighter. Still a skilled fighter. There are so many people who've had peds and got themselves knocked out. Peds or no peds, a guy can still fight. He was Olympic gold medalist. Listen, this guy can fight. Do not rubbish Alexander Povetkin for 1 second. If Price versus Povetkin was was in the state he would have been finished, that would have had him a standing 8 count. Well, okay, if you want to use that example, then I could say, well, if Klitschko hadn't had a 2-year layoff or a year layoff, and he had a warm-up fight, and when he knocked Joshua down, he'd gone for a kill and finished Joshua off rather than listen to Vitaly Klitschko, Joshua would be champion today. I could say that. I could say, well, if Dillian White wasn't injured when he fought Joshua, when he fought him, and he wasn't out of shape when he fought Joshua, and he hit him with that left hook, or he countered with him and he followed up, who would have beaten Joshua? I could sit down and say to you now, well, you know, if Richard Seal didn't stop the fight against with Meldrick Taylor would have beaten Julio Cesar Chavez. I can say to you today, well, you know what? If Mike Tyson had got up after he got dropped by Buster Douglas, he would have gone on and he would knock Buster Douglas out. This is not a world of ifs, buts, and maybes. You know, we're not talking about if, buts, and maybes. The fact of the matter is, BoxRec says Povetkin, KO, Price. That's it. Not if, buts, maybes. BoxRec or the record of boxing records don't say maybe if you KO'd this person, you would have had 41 wins instead of 40 wins. Why do people talk such rubbish? Why do people talk such rubbish? I don't understand it. If, buts, maybes. It's either you win, you don't win, or it's a draw. It's one of the three. You're either going to win, you're going to lose, you win, you lose, you draw. That's it. Or there's a no contest. Other than that, win, lose, draw. No contest. That's it. 4 outcomes. Or the fight don't happen. So where people come out with this, if this happened, would that would have happened? No. It didn't happen. That's where it is. The only people who don't respect who Alexander, how good Povetkin are people who don't understand boxing. If Alexander Povetkin was such a bum, like everyone said, why comes people not rolling up to fight Povetkin? I don't get it. How come people not rolling up to fight Povetkin? And more to the point, if Alexander Povetkin is so poor, how come he's only had 1 loss in his record? Oh, because he's been fighting bums. Really? I mean, people do talk some rubbish sometimes. Yeah, and people understand. It's either you're going to give David Price the credit for being a big puncher or not. Is David Price a big puncher? Yes or no? Listen, the guy's what, 6'7", 260, 270 pounds. Have any of you that are talking there boxed before? If you get hit by a guy that's that big, right? And Povetkin is 6'2", and 240, 245, something like that. If you get hit by that, of course you're going to get hit on the other side of the ring. But Price is a puncher. Why do people talk such rubbish? Price can punch. So you've got to take into consideration. David Price can punch. Can he punch? Yes or no? Yes, he can punch. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, well, Price hurt him. Bruno hurt Tyson. And so what? This is boxing. And Povetkin's game is about engaging. Let's talk about the sweet science. Let's talk about how much knowledge of boxing you understand. Povetkin's whole game is about engaging. So he will take 1 or 2 to land his own. But can I ask you the question? What happened at the end of the fight? That's what I want to know. What happened at the end of the fight? Don't tell me about, well, looking at little snippets. Because if you want to look at little snippets, you look at the snippet between Klitschko, who's, 2 years off out of the ring, came back and dropped Joshua. So what does that mean? An old man Klitschko drops Joshua, who hadn't really done anything, really, of the last year and a bit. Really? Come on. People don't know, they really don't understand their boxing. Povetkin's a risk for any heavyweight in the world. Any heavyweight. It's a jab. David Price has got a stiff left jab. He's got a good jab. This is a guy that also fought in the World Amateur Championships. David Price ain't no... A lot of people dismiss David Price. David Price has been badly managed. He's a good fighter. Badly managed. Please separate the difference between being a badly managed fighter and just a fighter who can't fight. There's a difference. And David Price has been badly managed and badly trained. Personal opinion. Any top level fighter can get one with a jab. Now you, Lee Stacey, talk absolute garbage. Go back and watch Gennady Golovkin in his last fight against Vanis Matarosan. Go look at the last fight. I think he got rocked by a jab by a guy who was of a low weight. Go look at that fight. And you guys talk absolute rubbish. I mean, really. You get hit by a jab by an 18-stone man and see if you don't move across the other side of the ring and weigh like Povetkin did. And how much of that jab was him off balance, right? And he was trying to reset and he got caught off balance and it was a clipping shot. Highs, punches, that's it. Freezing in the middle of the ring is badly managed. Yes, mate. You obviously haven't boxed before. You clearly haven't boxed before because preparation. If you're not ready, you're not ready. You're not ready. Price wasn't ready for Povetkin. Price shouldn't be nowhere in the ring with Povetkin. What was the point of Price fighting Povetkin? Can somebody explain to you why Price was fighting Povetkin? Don't get it. So talking rubbish, mate. Talking proper rubbish. Talking absolute rubbish. You need to go and study, but you need to go and spend some time watching boxing, the art of boxing and the science of boxing. You've got a guy in Price who can punch, legitimately can punch. He can legitimately punch. He's a big guy. Do you know what I mean? You've been boxing since you're 12 years old. Then you've been wasting your time, mate. Because if you're boxing some 12-year-olds and you come in there talking this rubbish, mate, but I don't know what you're talking about then, mate. I'm a fool. All right. Okay, mate. All right. That's nice to know. See you later, Mr. Stacey. Yeah, you have to cringe at some of the comments. Gone. See you later. I suggest you go back and watch some boxing. Get education. Sometimes people have to be put in their place because listen, a guy at 18 stone, this is a big guy that hits a guy with a big punch or a good punch, a good jab, and he gets knocked backwards. I don't hear anybody talking about the effect of that punch that Povetkin hit Price with. I don't hear anybody talking about that, but they just talk about the jab. I don't get it. I don't understand personally. I really don't. Yeah, I don't think Price should. If Price's career was managed like Deontay Wilder's career, that's how you manage a fighter's career. That's how you manage a fighter's career. They wasn't ready at a time. They built him up slowly, 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 slowly. Now look at him, top of the world. That's how they should have built Price's career. But greed is what happens in boxing. Greed, people not looking after his career. That's what it is. But anyway, that's just me speaking my mind. That's my thoughts. Um, Everyone's entitled to opinion, but please, not the illogical thoughts. Just let's try and get some people in the room quickly. Yeah, people equate Price rocking Povetkin with a jab equates to Joshua's gonna have an easy fight. If it's such an easy fight, why is Joshua training? Why is Joshua training if it's such an easy fight? Man, you guys talk some rubbish sometimes. If it's such an easy fight, why are you training? Just roll up and fight. You know, don't go to the gym. Don't take 8 weeks. Don't train. Man, these some people sometimes. Yeah, but I'm gonna send you the link. Don't worry. Cool. I'm gonna send you a link. World Breaker, brother. I've just sent you a link first. There you go. If you want to hop on and say some stuff, please do. Be nice to have you in the room, brother. Let's try and get a man in the room. Where are you? There you are. Um, AJ's a hard worker. AJ doesn't know not to train. Are you on at 10 tonight? Yes, we're on tonight with Tommy Caruthers. Uh, he's got a huge message for Tyson Fury and Conor McGregor. Um, if Povetkin wins, how does that affect the landscape of boxing? It will go to Russia. Russia will not exactly be known for fairness. Listen, you have to knock Povetkin out. Listen, this is not. I edge Povetkin coming into this fight. I give him the edge in this fight. I really do. Then it's all down to how Joshua fights. Joshua's going to have to do something he's never done in his career, for me, which is box, use the jab, move around the ring for 12 rounds on the jab, and tie up Povetkin. When Joshua engages with Povetkin, Joshua is most vulnerable when he engages. Look at every time he's been hurt, he's been tagged and been stunned. When Joshua boxes, he's a boxer. When Joshua engages, when Joshua decides to fight, that's when he gets tagged. Look at the Dillian White fight. Look at the Klitschko fight. Those are key points. So if you want to take a highlights, look at the fights Joshua engages with. When he gets clipped, look at the fight with Takam. He struggled with Takam in the way Takam was coming on the inside. He was not comfortable with it. Oh, he beat Takam. All right, fine. But Povetkin is better than Takam, White, Parker. And I would say, in terms of activity, he's been more active than Klitschko. Yep. Yes, tone bangers. All right, I've just sent the connection in. I've sent you guys, both guys, an invitation. Who's in the room there?
It's Bo. What's going on, man?
Yes, champ. How you doing?
A little I'm tired under the weather. Just got through celebrating some big numbers, some big a big number birthday.
Okay. 40 or 50?
Say what now?
40 or 50?
26. Uh
Okay, fair enough.
no, I was listening to what you were saying,
Yeah.
and you had some very, very good points, and I wanted to piggyback off of that.
Okay.
First off, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe, okay? But here's the thing I think a lot of people got to understand is that um the heavyweight division is the only division in all the boxing where one punch really does make a big huge difference. Okay, one punch, a guy could be losing the fight, aka Deontay Wilder, and then one punch, boom, changes everything. Right? It's also a division where um like it's one of those divisions, like it's funny because it's one of those divisions where you can be the most skillful guy, but without the proper training, without the being taught the proper technique, without the proper management, you could be the most skilled guy in the world and never go anywhere and actually turn out to be, kind of garbage because you're like, because what's the phrase? Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. So let's say because you was talking about David Price, for example, and
Yeah.
and look, I totally agree with you, David Price, because when he was hot and he was going, David Price was probably one of the best prospect heavyweights that there was out there. Then, of course, like you said, he was being mismanaged. He was being put in fights. They's like, wait a minute, he's not there yet, right? Perfect example is if people go back, we was having a conversation about Anthony Yard.
Yes.
And I was saying, well, my issue was, he's ranked in the top five. He holds these two major belts. I mean, at some point, people gonna want to go for a title. Now, I totally understand what you were saying. Was wait a minute though. If you look at what happened to O'Hara Davies, they have to manage this guy right because he had no amateur career, and you can clearly look at Anthony Yarden and say there's still a lot of work that needs to be done there. right? Just like, for example, somebody might have looked at Deontay Wilder and was like, okay, there's still a lot of work to be done here, which is why they didn't start making step ups for him until around like his 30 something fight and his 40 some 40 some odd fight, right? So, and you have a very, very good point in that aspect. And what people have to understand is outside of the fact of not just being in the ring, see, boxing isn't, and I get it. I've been in the ring, you've been in the ring. So we will judge things off of that. But we also, by us being in the ring, boxing is a sport to where you have to have an eye and an understanding for what you're watching. If you don't have that, then you get caught up in the triangle of just trying to make a fight because you want to see a fight, right? Like Ryan Garcia last night was talking about Tank Davis. What I saw last night, you're not ready for Tank Davis.
He's not ready. He'll never be ready because
Yeah,
he's an fighter. He
yeah,
has got no defense. And when you've got no defense, it's okay for him, guys who don't come to win. Tank Davis is going to hurt Ryan Garcia very badly. He's got no defense.
right. And that's the thing. And even Oscar De La Hoya said that fight is not going to happen no time soon. Same reason why Floyd Mayweather said Tank Davis. Well, we're not going to make that Lomachenko fight just yet. That's the reason why he said that. So it's all about management. Now we'll get caught up and say, "Oh, he's ducking, he's scared." It's not. It's about managing. You have to put your fighter in. A promoter, a manager, their number one job is to do what's in the best interest, not just for the fighter, but for themselves. Because
a good promoter and a good manager. Let's
yes,
clear that
that's
up.
true. That's true. A good promoter, a good promoter job is to put you in the best position, because at the end of the day, you still have to be marketable to make money off them, because they're in the business to make money as well.
I say this, yeah. If Povetkin beats Anthony Joshua, that would be a terrible move by Matchroom because they should have taken a Wilder fight based on that now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And for those who don't think, see, the thing about it, and somebody mentioned PEDs. Okay, Luis Ortiz failed a PED test, but we can clearly see he's a skillful he's a
There
skillful
we go.
heavyweight,
That's
right?
it.
Okay. Marcus Brown took PEDs. Marcus Brown is no Povetkin. Marcus Brown is no Luis Ortiz. So, and I get what people are saying. Okay, well, they took a PED. Yeah. But
Lucas Brown, not Marcus Brown.
I'm
Lucas
sorry.
Brown.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Right. Lucas Brown. See, there I go again. It's early in the morning.
Paul Marcus.
Yeah. Marcus is going to watch this. Say, hey, call my lawyer.
He probably will do, because his best mate is the basketball we have on the channel, which is Zaire Taylor. So, yeah, he probably will watch this now. Thank you.
He gonna be like, "Hey, call my lawyer." But no, yeah, Lucas Brown, right? And
Yeah.
Lucas Brown, even with steroids, he's not skillful. So
There you go.
your skill set, your knowledge, your abilities, they don't go anywhere. You still have those things. And
Yeah.
if
People do talk some absolute rubbish. Oh yeah, he don't look so good when he's on PEDs. So what the hell happened with? Obviously, David Price felt something. If he wasn't on PEDs, felt
most
something.
definitely. And that was actually, I actually saw that fight. That was a good fight. I thought Price had some very good moments, but then you just saw Povetkin's experience just take over.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, that was a fight I actually felt that David Price shouldn't have taken.
I agree with you.
I thought that was I thought that was a fight they shouldn't have had him in.
I think it's a fight that was winnable for Price had he been managed properly.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
He wasn't managed properly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and what's funny is we talk about being managed properly. You know what the crazy part is? The guy who has the team that can get him in a ranking position without really fighting a dangerous fight, that's the guy with the good team right there. The guy with the team that can have you ranked number one, and you look at his resume and be like, I recognize nobody on this resume. That's a guy with a good team.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts about this story about the Daniel Dubois thing?
Just going off of what I heard, I would not be surprised if that was true, because here's the thing about sparring is where you're working on something new to see if it'll work in real time. So you're doing it at half speed, right? So you might be trying
Yeah,
something new where the other guy is just going through the motions he would always go through. So there are times in sparring where because you're trying something new and the other guy isn't, then yeah,
yeah,
you might have some moments where you're getting beat. I've heard Evander Holyfield, when it was David Tua, when he's
yeah,
preparing for Tyson, said that he was
yeah,
getting whooped by Tua up until 2 weeks
yeah.
before the fight.
I'm glad. To me, I'm happy to hear that. That
Yeah.
means we're going to have a heavyweight contender who's serious about becoming heavyweight world champion.
Yes.
If I didn't hear he was getting beaten up in sparring, I'd be concerned. I'd be concerned because for me, that means he's a guy we know Povetkin style is one who's going to engage. So, you
Mhm.
know, he's determined to beating up. Who was there watching that sparring session? Who's giving us a story? I'm going to talk to Uncle Bashir. Now, he's in camp because Sorenko's there. So I'll get the lowdown as to what really happened, not through some third party. I'll know
Right.
exactly. Then I can come back and tell you guys this is what actually is going on because Sorenko is in camp with Povetkin as we speak. And I've been getting this day by day as to what's going on. So, you know,
I put it like this: it was a smart move bringing in Dubois. Dubois is tall and rangy.
yes,
That's what you want to. Like if you're going to prepare for an Anthony Joshua. Like, I read a story how Manny Pacquiao, when he was about to fight Jeff Horn, the guys they had in camp were guys like 126 and 130, and I was like, he's going to lose because you got nobody in camp that's properly going to prepare you for Jeff Horn. You're fighting small
exactly.
guys.
Yeah, you need big guys to bully you around.
Yeah, so I applaud him for this, but um, I,
And the other thing I was going to add to this whole Dubois thing, he's in the ring with a fresh guy. Fresh guy. I remember Peter once told me that I don't like bringing in guys that are older. I like bringing in young, fresh contenders because they're hungry, they want to prove a
mm,
point, and they want to learn. So they're the best guys. Dubois is young, he's unbeaten. He's got that, that youth at 19, 20. He's got that, youth about him where he doesn't care. He's got less of a fear in the world. He's not looking to survive. He's looking to get out there and do the business. So people have gone over there and think, yeah, I'll put it on Povetkin. And Povetkin's like, yeah, that's fine because at least I'm sparring. It's like virtually, I'm sparring against a guy who's got punching power and he can put my lights out with any shot he lands. That's more realistic than a guy that you get beat up on, like Chris Eubank Jr. You've seen him sparring sessions against guys who can't fight, can't box, but he's
mhm.
doing no favors.
Well, that was and that's actually the downfall of any team is not bringing in the right people to properly prepare you, which goes back to like what you were saying, that whole properly preparing you and managing you, that like all that goes hand in hand.
Of
Because all
course,
of that,
yes.
in my honest opinion, is part of management. You got to bring in the right people to properly prepare you, to teach you, to give you everything you need. All of that. Now, it's up to the fighter to take it, but you have part of managing is your management, managing your career is making sure you have everything you properly need to be successful. Now, it's up to you to take it in, but if you don't have what you properly need and then you throw a guy out there, okay, you're pretty much asking him to figure it out on the fly. And for a lot of fighters, that ring IQ comes from being in the ring and being properly prepared. If you're not properly prepared, because you get a lot of guys say, "Well, I question his ring IQ." I don't question ring IQ. I question who the hell is training him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
So
agree with
you're
that.
right. Yeah, I agree with you on that. And then, um, you were saying, you were saying something about Let me make sure I get this right. Um, the guy said something, huh?
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, he said something about um what did he say? I forgot that face. I'm getting old, man.
How about the jab or the price jab? I said, well, at the end of the day, people look at snippets. They look at snippets and make excuses out of. They make
That's what it was.
illogical, or they're trying to make a logical statement based on illogical facts. For example, they'll say to you, "Oh, but look at that jab that Price hit Povetkin with. It almost knocked him out by the jab, but it didn't knock him out." And the fact of the matter is, Povetkin knocked out Price. What happened? if Richard Steele hadn't stopped the fight against Mildred Taylor and Chavez, Mildred Taylor would have won the fight. If Mike Tyson had got up after he got knocked down by Buster Douglas, he could have gone on and beaten Buster Douglas. Well, he didn't get up. He got knocked out. So it's like we can't work from a world of if, buts, and maybes. Either it is or it isn't. The fact of the matter, on BoxRec, it tells you David Price KO'd by Alexander Povetkin. That's it. Nobody asks if, buts, and maybes. When people are so silly. When people go to BoxRec, they look at a person's record and they go down. They go loss, win, loss, 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 win, 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 and they look at the records. Oh, this guy! Look at this. This guy's a bum. He fought guys who had 100 losses and only 2 wins. He's a bum. They look at that, but they don't say, oh, they don't consider. Well, maybe he was badly managed. Maybe all the guys he fought were tough fighters. There's no if, buts, and maybes there. But when it comes to their favorite fighter now, there's if, buts, and maybes. But there's no if, buts, and maybes. If, like with Klitschko, what about if Klitschko had taken a couple of warm-up fights and then fought Joshua? What about if Joshua fought Klitschko the night that Tyson Fury fought him? If. We can't work in a world of if. The fact of the matter is what we've got.
We got an old saying here in America: if was a fifth, we all would be drunk. Here the problem is you and I agree with you 100% because Darnell Boone is one of those dudes that when you look at it, his resume is deceptive.
Let me get on the chin though.
Yeah, his resume is deceptive. I mean, we're talking about a guy that would be training at one weight, get to the fight, and they say, "Oh, we changed the weight," and you got to take. I mean, do you want to get paid? Yeah, I got to feed the camp. I got to get paid, right? So you take the fight. But to your point, boxing, and what's funny about that too is when people go to the BoxRec, do you know what they don't look at? They look at a guy. They'll say, "Oh man, this guy got," like for example, I think his name is Salcedo. Alex Salcedo,
okay.
is that his
yes.
name? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
They'll look at it and they'll say, "Man, Alex Salcedo's undefeated. His last 2 fights, he knocked the guy out." Okay, yeah, but you know what you don't look at? You don't look at those last 2 fights. He went through a goddamn war. See what I'm saying? BoxRec don't tell you that both his eyes were swollen up when the fight was over with because he kept constantly getting hit with the same punch. BoxRec don't tell you that his footwork or his defense was laxing. See, BoxRec don't tell you that. So when you look at you look at his, you see, say, "Oh man, he beat," like you'll get somebody to say, "Oh well, so and so beat Chris Eubanks Jr. Senior." Yeah, but BoxRec don't tell you Chris Eubanks Senior was on his the very next fight he retired, so he was on his way out the door. You know, know.
The other thing I want to bring up, this thing about Daniel Dubois and Alexander Povetkin. Now, and Daniel Dubois, I've watched him train and I've watched him fight. I've watched him up close on pads and I've watched him fight. Daniel Dubois is a big puncher, but he seems rather stiff and predictable, and he throws the same punches over and over again. I cannot for the 1 minute imagine him giving Alexander Povetkin the sort of problems that people are discussing. Yeah, he's a big guy, he's a big lad, he can punch, but he's raw. He's raw. He's not an experienced pro. He's raw, and that's where I kind of put in my head. I'm thinking, yeah, the rawness of Dubois, but he's not. I wouldn't call Dubois a highly skilled heavyweight. He's a big guy. I won't call him highly skilled. His feet are very slow. They're slower than Joshua's. His hands are slow, and he moves much slower than Joshua. That's the one thing. And
he's still robotic. He's still kind of robotic. And
if you look at Price, I would say Price is probably a little bit more looser because he had the American trainer coming with him. So he had a bit more looseness, but he was always upright and stiff anyway from the start, Price. So I'm not. And the thing about they say, well, Dubois beat up Joshua in sparring. Again, that may well have happened. Dubois can punch. Nobody knows exactly how it happened. Just with the Povetkin situation, nobody knows exactly what happened, but I'm gonna get down to the bottom of what the hell it is.
But see, here's the thing, Ingram. You know, and I know there's something you know and I know from fighting, right? Some days you just have those days where you're not there, and when you go to
Exactly.
camp, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
you might have had 3 days where you was put through the grinder. You just don't have
Yep.
it on that fourth day, and somebody just happened to see you get beat up. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing about sparring. You
Yeah.
know what? Check it out. I'm gonna tell you a funny story, man. There was this
Yep.
guy named Andy. He was a heavyweight. I was fighting out of Pug's boxing gym. Andy was a
Uh-huh.
heavyweight, right? So I get in there with Andy one day, and I'm like, man, this dude is fighting as a heavyweight. He's gonna get hurt because I'm just giving him the business, right? I'm like,
Right.
this dude's gonna get hurt. He's a heavyweight. So a week later, Andy come back in, and I spar him, and he's kicking my ass. I'm like, holy crap, what an improvement! He was punching hard, and then come to find out, Andy was sick that day. He had a cold. he was fighting a
Uh-huh.
cold, so he didn't
Uh-huh.
even at full strength that day, you know, and that happens, man.
Yeah, that happens. So you don't know what the circumstances are. You don't know when Dubois was sparring Povetkin. Did Dubois spar Povetkin? Did he come in fresh after Povetkin had done a 12-hour sparring session? You just don't.
Mhm.
You just don't know. So I'm not. And the other thing, this is what happened to non-disclosure.
Yeah,
How did this get out? How did it get leaked? It's in Russia. Who was watching a sparring session? Where did this information come from?
that's
And
true.
if it's leaked, then is it leaked because the Povetkin camp want it leaked? These are Russians we're dealing with, right? They normally keep themselves locked tight and say nothing. I didn't hear nothing about Povetkin sparring camp when he fought. David was preparing for David Price.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't hear that either. You're right. I didn't.
Right, right.
I didn't,
So see what I mean?
oh, wow, I didn't
So
think
for
about
me,
that. You're right.
right. So I don't. Yeah, he might have got bruised up and bashed up in because his side of his face was bashed up. This is he's in with a heavy-handed guy.
Hmm.
Pressure burst pipes. It happens. If you get hit with a guy, but if you get hit by Danny Dubois, it's like, hold on. We accept Danny Dubois as a big puncher, right? And we accept that Alexander's Povetkin Sky is not Floyd Mayweather. He comes forward. So he's coming forward. Dubois not going to take a back step. They're going to collide. He's a big puncher. Povetkin's a big puncher. Povetkin needs Dubois to land punches. Povetkin says, well, okay, I have to take two. And the two he took, it might have been two big shots he took. And that's why his face is bruised up the way it is.
Yeah,
But
I mean, there's a lot of things, man. Headbutts,
yeah, but
bumping
they're
heads.
also they're also not telling you what's happening with Daniel Dubois. Now, if it came out,
Very true.
yeah, Povetkin got bruised up and he got a black eye in sparring. But Povetkin laid Dubois and laid him out flat in sparring. It's almost like the story with the Price and the Povetkin story. Oh, David Price, he rocked Povetkin in the fight. If you just listen to that report, you'd think Povetkin lost the fight or
Hmm.
Price well. But oh yeah, but then he got caught with a big punch and got knocked out, and he was out like a light. He was laid out like a carpet. Then people start whoa, and then they look at the video and they see Price laid out flat. They go shit, this guy's dangerous. Yeah.
Yep.
Now what we've heard is part of a story. Media is an interesting thing. Those who control the media control the minds. Now you're only hearing what Dubois did to Povetkin. So you're telling me in all those sparring sessions, Dubois got the better Povetkin in every one of those sparring sessions, and Povetkin never got on top? No, 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 no. If Dubois is that good, he should be world heavyweight champion already.
If I'm about to say if Dubois is that good, he should be the one fighting Joshua. And I'm gonna say
There
this
we
again.
go.
It goes back to what I said. We don't know
And
what
he
Povetkin was working on. He might have been
and
working
he
on
should
some.
not and he should not be fighting Kevin Johnson.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Let's
Yeah.
put things back in its perspective, people.
Yes.
You see, you're getting okie doked. What I want to know the condition of Daniel Dubois as we're speaking. Has he been knocked up cold in sparring by Povetkin? I don't know.
That's true.
Did Povetkin say, "Okay, today I'm gonna spar light with you"? and Daniel Dubois took liberties, and Povetkin said, "All right, cool. This will be good. Let Daniel Dubois take advantage of you today. It's all right. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Let's media." And then the next day, Povetkin comes in like real Povetkin, and then he puts it on Dubois. We don't hear about that.
No.
And if you did hear that Povetkin had laid out Dubois in sparring, what would you say? All them Joshua fanboys that are running at the moment, they start to shit themselves. Pardon my French, but they would do. Simple reason is they equate, hold on, Dubois knocked out Joshua in sparring. Dubois just got knocked out in sparring by Povetkin. This ain't good for Joshua. Well, we don't want that. We don't want that. This is how it goes. It's boxing.
Yeah. Well, see, it's so
Do I
frustrating.
think Povetkin's got a chance against AJ? He's got more than a chance. He's got more of a chance than Dillian White, Parker, Takam, and Klitschko. That's how much of a chance I give Povetkin. Because
I'm finna say Povetkin has a very high chance. I don't know who think he doesn't. Crazy.
Klitschko was coming off a year or 2 year absence. Had a warm up fight. And Povetkin, when Klitschko fought Joshua, he thought he'd run through Joshua because he thought, well, Joshua was young and immature as a fighter, so he thought he'd go there and try and go reckless against Joshua. That's why he ended up the way he did. Didn't box the same way against Joshua as he fought against Tyson Fury. And that's because Klitschko thought, hey, I'll take Joshua out. I can hurt Joshua. I can take him out. And he'd sparred Joshua beforehand.
Yep, I was just going to say that. He sure did.
Right, so let's add that. Let's take that component. Dillian White wasn't fit, was injured going into that fight. Told people go back and look at the tape. Joseph Parker, I didn't know he was a gold medalist. Didn't know Dillian White was a gold medalist. And I certainly know Takam wasn't a gold medalist. I didn't know Dillian White, Takam, and what's the other guy? Dillian White,
Joseph Parker.
Parker, White, and Takam. Those three guys have not been consistently ranked in the top 3 of the world in the last 5 to 10 years.
That's very true.
There's a reason for that. And it's not because he was on PEDs. You got to also remember, Joshua will not be the fastest heavyweight that Povetkin would have faced as well. Remember, Marco Hook coming up straight from cruiserweight. And the hand speed that Hook would have had coming up from cruiserweight up to heavyweight. And he gave Povetkin all sorts of problems.
Yeah, he did.
And the great Klitschko, everyone wants to talk about when they're ready. They want to call Klitschko great when Joshua fights, but he was an old man when Tyson Fury fought him. Yeah, I get it. Agenda.
Well, I'll go back even further. I remember the great Klitschko losing. I think what was the guy's name? Lamont Brewster.
Oh, the great Klitschko that got knocked out by Corey Sanders.
Sanders.
The great Klitschko. The great Klitschko. The great Klitschko. Ross Purity. The great Klitschko.
Yep.
Okay, but why don't we use all those clips then? Why don't we use all those clips, guys? Let's put things in perspective. So, when I look at these guys, Povetkin is active. Povetkin has fought a guy preparing him to fight Joshua in the size and the punching power. He's in camp now sparring with Daniel Dubois. He's very much prepared. Who did Joshua fight in his last fight? Oh yeah, Joseph Parker. So how does Joseph Parker prepare you for Alexander Povetkin?
Well, he doesn't. Joseph Parker, and I've said this before, I like Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker don't have that mindset of, he don't have that killer mindset that Povetkin had when he gets you hurt. Like, for example, look at when Joseph Parker had Dillian White hurt. He should have been able to get him out of there. He just don't. He don't have that. He don't have that mindset. He's sort of a, I'm not gonna say nice guy, but he just don't have that anything it takes to like, as much as I don't like Dillian White, I can at least say he has that killer instinct in him. Like, if he gets you hurt, he's gonna jump on you and attack you. So,
and the other thing is, you're talking about the other thing, boxing. Klitschko's career, his fight against Povetkin, the reason why he was able to shut Povetkin down because he held and he held and he grappled and because he didn't have any inside game.
Yep.
Anthony, it wants to talk about how great Joshua is. He doesn't know how to hold. Doesn't know how to hold. He doesn't have a holding game.
Well, we saw that in the Klitschko fight.
So he'll have to learn how to hold against a guy against Povetkin, who, if he hurts him, will take him out of there. And one shot can knock you out. He is a proven. And I say this: if Joshua beats Povetkin, you know, he is, for me, legit. This is a fight, for me, Joshua legit.
Yeah, and I'll say that too, because people were saying the same thing when Wilder was supposed to fight Povetkin. They say, hey, if Wilder beats Povetkin, he's legit. And people were saying that. So if you're going to say it with Wilder, you got to say the same thing with Anthony Joshua. You can't play favorites. But I want to go back to that if thing you was talking about. If the referee would have jumped in and stopped the fight when Joshua was clearly on the ropes because he had gassed himself out, Klitschko would be the man fighting Deontay Wilder right now. Okay.
There we go. And by the way, I want to add this. I said if Wilder beat Ortiz, which I said he would, he should be given props for it. And it's the same thing I'm going to say about Povetkin against Joshua. Povetkin is battle tested. Povetkin has been in the trenches. Povetkin has fought the world's best. So there's no question, what's it like in a tough fight, Povetkin? Can he do the 12 rounds? Can he take a good punch? We don't have to ask him questions. Povetkin is battle tested and tried over many years of consistency. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Very damn good to beat Povetkin. You don't just run up and just beat Povetkin. Sorry, it ain't happening.
I remember when he beat Mike Perez. I remember that.
And if you do, you're damn good. Ain't happening. So these people saying Joshua's going to roll up and win. Well, I've said to them before. I said to them, he's not knocking Joseph Parker down. He's not knocking Joseph Parker out. I said he was not going to stop Takam. And to be honest, he didn't stop Takam. The referee stopped Takam.
Exactly.
Chisora knocked Takam out. Chisora knocked out Takam. Dillian White dropped Parker. Joshua couldn't drop any of those two guys. Legit. I'm talking punching power here. So
I've always thought Anthony Joshua was more of a volume
accumulation
guy.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that hits you with a punch, stuns you, and then throws 4 or 5 punches and bundles in. And the referee, most of his fights are like that. You look at Povetkin's fights. I suggest anybody who wants to knock Povetkin, go look at Povetkin's record and his highlights. 95 to 96% of his highlights are guys being laid out on the canvas, looking up at the lights. That is a very dangerous man, right? And apart from Deontay Wilder, when you go back in history, you look at someone like Mike Tyson, you look at Povetkin. I keep saying it, Mike and Povetkin. Yes, Mike moved his head like this, and people are mythical about Tyson, about what he could and couldn't do. But Povetkin, if you look at ratios in terms of what Mike has done and what Povetkin, yes, I know Mike was undisputed champion, blah, 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 blah. I appreciate that. When I'm talking about the top tier fighters, Povetkin's done as good or even better against top tier fighters and has a better record. And I say that Povetkin is our modern day Tyson. He's not Mike Tyson, of course, because Tyson is Tyson. He's unique. The knockout power, big knockout with left hand or right hand, in terms of being short and being able to get in against big guys and be effective. Povetkin's your man. Who else at 6'2" boxes or 6'3" boxes like that effectively and has been at the top of world boxing for so long? Name them.
Talking about that's still fighting right now?
Currently, name them.
No, there's nobody right now I can think of.
And you can make an argument for Luis Ortiz. But how many top?
No. The only top guy Luis Ortiz fought was Brian Jennings coming off of a loss. That's it. I'm just being honest.
So, and again, People keep forgetting. Joshua has been dropped. Povetkin,
didn't Joshua get hurt against Dylan White? Didn't Dylan White rock him a little bit?
Yep. Povetkin won't have Vitaly Klitschko whispering in his corner. If Povetkin gets Joshua hurt, if you look historically of Povetkin, when he hurts you, he gets you out of there. He's a murderous finisher.
You know what's funny is that when I saw this in the Klitschko fight, as a matter of fact, even in the Dylan White fight, those were 2 times Joshua was hurt with the guy that hurt him, and Joshua got back up. And give him all credit for that. They didn't pounce on him like they should have pounced on him. That's not going to happen with Povetkin. Povetkin gets you hurt, he's gonna pounce on you and stay on you. Dylan White didn't stay on him. Klitschko didn't stay on him.
So if we want to go on highlights, people, let me put a couple of highlights together. For you, Joshua, people like to put the highlights together of the prize fight. Let me put some highlights together, which I'm sure Povetkin's camp will be looking at. Highlight 1. Dillian Whyte versus Anthony Joshua. Rocks him, hurts him, doesn't finish, follow up on him. Joshua versus Klitschko. Drops him, doesn't finish him off. 2 opportunities there. And then you're gonna put you in a ring with Povetkin, who hits with better punching power than those 2 guys combined, because he hits with both hands, left hooks and right hands, doubles up on left hooks, double ups on right hands, works the body, works the head. Faster, shorter, it's more explosive for me, and more of a killer instinct than Klitschko and White has got. White's wild with his punching, and Klitschko hasn't got the killer instinct that someone like Povetkin's got. Povetkin is, when he's got you hurt, he takes you out. And I'm not just saying this. Go back and look at the resume of Povetkin's work. Can't make things up. Povetkin is a finisher. He is. The only thing that's a problem for me for Povetkin, the only thing for me is his age. That's it, at 38.
But if you have to ask yourself how much he's got left.
Yeah. But
another thing that's going to concern me is going to be his gas tank. And I know people
that's
like,
another thing.
I'm like, no. When you're 38 years old, you can still be in good shape, but you can feel some effect. Because let's say the fights get kind of grueling, because that's actually what happened with Vladimir Klitschko. Like you said, Vladimir Klitschko holding, leaning on him. Klitschko is famous for that, and and he just wore him down. So I'm just curious, what is his gas tank going to be like? Because he hasn't gone the distance in quite a while.
But he hasn't needed to be honest, Bo.
Yeah, that's very, very true. That's what makes me question his gas tank. You see what I'm saying? Because just like that dude that holds that WBC light heavyweight title, that dude that's babysitting that belt. I question his gas tank because he's been knocking everybody out. So now his body's not used to going the full distance, which is why he looked at gassed out against Badu Jack,
who I think is the top 3 light heavyweight anyway. I think Badu Jack's a top fighter. Top fighter.
I agree with you. So yeah, I'm curious about his gas tank. Like if Joshua can get it into the the championship rounds, what would his gas tank look like?
But the question is, if Joshua has got Povetkin into the championship rounds, then he's obviously taking Povetkin's punching power. At some point in the first 5 rounds, Povetkin's going to connect. Povetkin is going to, and when it connects, it's how Joshua reacts to it.
Do you think if Povetkin drops Joshua, but he somehow survives, you think they'll turn around and put him in the ring with Wilder? No.
No, if he gets dropped, listen. If he gets dropped and hurt badly, well, look, the thing is, Joshua's out on his feet. When he's hurt, he doesn't throw much back. He doesn't throw much back when he's hurt, Joshua. Go and look at the fight when he fought White, and he worked when White hit him to the body. His energy just went. So we've seen Povetkin in fights and come back. Who's the last guy to knock Povetkin down, please?
I think it was Klitschko.
And since then?
Nobody. If I'm not, yeah, nobody. I think Klitschko was the only one that knocked him down. Yeah, that's Vladimir Klitschko. That's the only one I can think of right now. I watched a lot of his fights. Now, we don't know if it would happen with Deontay Wilder, but then we don't know if he'd have knocked Wilder the hell out early.
Yeah,
Because
that's it, man.
Wilder waits to just land his punch. Wilder is actually a slow starter. So we don't know.
I mean, yeah, I think it would have been an interesting fight. I would have if Povetkin stays on the outside against Wilder and allows Wilder to let that left hand out with that big right hand on top, I wouldn't like to see it'd be ugly. It'd be ugly.
Yeah. But I
It
mean,
just,
yeah, and Wilder being the top. See, the thing about Povetkin, and you hit it right on the head.
yeah.
He knows how to fight tall guys. That's what he's been doing his career. He's fighting tall guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, Wilder has, even guys that's not short, has been able to get inside on Deontay Wilder. So, and the same thing with Anthony Joshua. You know, Takam was able to get inside because Joshua doesn't throw straight punches; he throws looping punches.
People still talking about this jab. So why don't you talk about the whole fight?
What talking about Joshua's jab?
You know, everyone's just people are hoping just based on a jab. Could you imagine? There are people sit down in their living rooms on their keyboards that are so believe that hold that jab, that one jab that pries through as the key to Joshua beating Povetkin. One jab.
Well, you know, here's my response to that. Let's just for the sake of argument, let's say that jab is the key. The question is that a jab that Joshua can do?
That's another question. How good is Joshua?
Right. So if you want to tell me, well, the jab is the key, okay, just like the jab was the key for Robert Easter Jr. to be Mikey Garcia, but it's not a jab he knew how to do.
Exactly.
You know, so even if you want to tell me, well, that jab is the key, okay, but that's not a jab that I've seen Joshua use. So is that a jab he can do? And let's say that is the jab. Are you telling me you don't think Povetkin in all these years who fought guys with better jabs don't know how to get around that? So, I mean, boxing got so many moving parts. That's why it's so important to pay attention to detail and look at what you can't just watch one moment and say, that's how you beat the guy. No. You got to watch though. Yeah, okay, he hit him with that one jab, but like you said, what happened? What was the end result of the fight? What was the end result?
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that.
You know what's funny?
I know that most of the people that say this are trolls anyway. I know they're trolls because if you ask them to break a fight down, they can't break a fight down.
No. But you know what's funny? If you take some of the greatest heavyweights that had some of the best jabs in the world, I'm talking Larry Holmes, I'm talking old George Foreman. Young George Foreman did not have a jab. Old George Foreman had a jab. Of course, Muhammad Ali. You take some of the best fighters with jabs. The funny thing about a jab, especially with the heavyweight division, is very few of these fighters I named, they were always able to throw a jab on a consistent basis through the course of a 12-round fight. Now you're going to get caught. That's the problem. Today's heavyweights don't throw a jab on a consistent basis 3 goddamn minutes.
Yeah. And that's the sort of jab. That's the sort of jabs. Josh is going to have to keep pinging him with the jab and learn the right hand. That's it. Like how Lennox Lewis fought David Tua, similar fashion on the jab, right hand, tie him up, spin him, go again, jab, right hand. That's what he's going to do.
And Lennox will hit him with the jab, step. Like he never, like today's heavyweights, even Wilder would throw the jab and they just stand there. Lewis would pop, move left, pop, move right, pop, move left, move right, pop.
That's what Josh is going to have to do that for 12 rounds. That's why I think he's slimmed down. He's going to have to do that for 12 rounds. Well, you hope that's why he's slimmed down for 12 rounds. Either that or people will think more sinister things because Joshua's lost all that weight. People will ask other questions as to how he's lost that weight, why he doesn't look so bulky anymore.
I don't engage in those kind of arguments unless there's unless there's some
absolutely, but people will ask the question. They will. But he's lost weight, so that to me he's looking for speed. Well, he better need speed because if he comes in bulky, and tries to engage with, I mean, even the trainer will tell him, look, I don't want you engaging. I don't want you engaging with Povetkin. Hit him with a jab, hit him with a jab and be gone. Don't allow this man to set. When you allow this man to set and throw that hook, you're in trouble. Through a jab, keep him at arm's length. And when he gets up close, as he gets up close, hit him with something nasty with the uppercut and tie him up. Lay your weight, lean on him, sit on his back, lay on his back, lean on him when he's got the ropes. You know, Joshua going to need the referee. You know, he's going to need the referee for this fight.
It's a dangerous fight. It's a very dangerous fight.
If I'm the referee, you get the referee who refereed the Hatton versus Mayweather fight.
Oh wow,
Because you know what, that referee, he stopped Hatton fighting his fight. Hatton's fight was to get inside. So every time Hatton got close, referee said break. You just see the referee's going to say break every minute. Break. That's it. Break.
Yeah.
Povetkin gets momentum to get close. Break. And as soon as Joshua hits him with 2 punches and Povetkin goes against the ropes, stop the fight. That's it. That's what to expect.
Hey, let me add this on him before I hurry him get out of here.
Yep.
I actually give Joshua more credit. Well, this is a more dangerous fight in my opinion, than what Joshua's fighting than what I feel like Deontay Wilder is fighting against Fury. I'm just being honest. I think that.
What's that?
I think that the fight that Joshua's taking with Povetkin is more of a dangerous fight than Wilder fighting Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been better for Joshua to fight either Fury or Wilder now. Personally. Yeah. If you win, you either become linear heavyweight champion of the world, or you become the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. In this fight, there's a huge possibility you lose the fight. You know.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I want to talk about that. I want to get your opinion on that. Do you still consider Tyson Fury the linear champion?
He's made it too defensive of the title, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I thought because he was going for 2 years, he hadn't fought nobody in 2 years. They take the linearship away.
He's still the linear champion. Let's be honest, he still is. I mean, okay. If you're gonna take the linear championship away, who are you gonna give it to?
Well, that's whoever becomes undisputed would get it then. Right. I mean, I could be wrong because I was wrong because I thought Tyson retired, but no, he was out for medical reasons. So if he hadn't, now if he retired, then the linearship becomes vacant. But if you're just saying, hey, he was out for medical reasons, that's a different story. So, I mean, you're probably, listen, man, you're probably right.
Tyrone Smith says this is an easy fight. Joshua will blow him away in 3 rounds. Yep. Of course he will, because he blew away Dillian White in 3 rounds. He blew away Parker in 3 rounds. He blew away Takaway in 3 rounds. He blew away Klitschko in 3 rounds. Of course, he's going to blow away the best fighter he's ever fought in his career, Olympic gold medalist, in 3 rounds. Sure, he's going to do it. But he never blew away all those other guys. Yeah, of course. It's not going to happen. Sorry. I don't think so.
You know what? I'll just say this.
And if he does try to blow him away, he'll get blown away in 3 rounds.
Yeah, I'll just say this. It's boxing, and we all know anything can happen. But let's make it very, very clear. I don't like when people say, when you talk of competitive fights, like people were saying stuff like, oh, well, Wilder will blow away Joshua. No, he will not. Joshua blow away Wilder. No. Now, like I said, again, it's boxing. You might mess around and get caught. Some fighters, I've seen fighters come in cold and just get caught coming in cold. I get that.
Brother Trap House, absolutely. Shout out to Brother Trap House. Oh, by the way, I tell you what, Tyrone, instead of making a bet, how about you break down the fight as to how Joshua blows up Povetkin? Because this is how you fight if somebody's a troll or not. Tell me how Joshua blows away Povetkin. Does he engage with Povetkin to do this? Because if he's going to blow him away, that means he's going to have to engage. And of all the heavyweights in the world you don't engage with, it's Alexander Povetkin. You don't engage with Povetkin, not on his terms. because you're the best. So I want to know how Joshua blows away Povetkin based on the fact that he's a higher skilled heavyweight than White, Takam, and Parker. How does he blow them away? I want to know how he blows them away. Please explain to me how you blow them, how he blows them away, Mr. Tyrone Smith.
In 3 rounds, though. He said in 3 rounds. So you got to explain that in 3 rounds.
How does he blow him away in 3 rounds?
Yeah, you got it's got to be
break down how he's going to break him, knock him out in 3 rounds, or blow him away. So that means that Povetkin basically is like the Molina fight. The reason why Joshua looked so good in that fight is because I said if Molina is back, you look at a guy's movement. If a guy takes his back foot is going towards the rope within the first 10 seconds of the fight, you know where his intentions are. When it's a guy like who's not a back foot fighter, he's a front foot fighter, goes into the back foot, you know what he's trying to do.
Of course.
So where's Mr. Smith? Povetkin will walk straight in, and AJ will catch him with a right uppercut and left hook combo. Oh Jesus Christ! that mate. I don't like talking about fight night champion, but it's the only game you can go play at the moment. Go play some fight night champion, mate. That's what I suggest to you. He was going to figure him out, and in and out movement like the prize fighting, but more explosive. Right. So why didn't he do it against Parker, who's a lesser talented fighter and less accomplished fighter than Povetkin? Why didn't he do that? Who, let's be honest, was out of shape, and who's Dillian White's best win? Now I'm not disrespecting Dillian White. Who's his best win? Joseph Parker. Okay, and who's Joseph Parker's best win?
Andy Ruiz.
Okay. All right, and who's Andy Ruiz's best win?
I think we're still waiting on it.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's funny because listen, it's not.
I can't bet with you because first of all, I don't think you'd actually. I don't think you'd even turn up in person. First of all, I don't think you even turn up in person to pay the money. That's the first thing. The second thing at all, based on what you've just said there, mate, the way you've broken that down. How old are you, by the way? Because I don't want to take your money with little kids. I certainly don't want to be doing that.
What did he say? How did he break this down? What did he say?
He said Povetkin will walk straight in, and AJ will catch him with a left hook, right uppercut, left hook combo.
Okay, now my question for that is: has Povetkin ever walked straight in on any fighter like that before? So all of a sudden, Povetkin is going to lose all boxing knowledge and just do something he's never done over the course of a whole career.
Yeah, mate.
Okay. Interesting.
Andy Ruiz and Tall Hammer. Right, okay. Yeah, mate. That's my opinion. I think Parker's a better technical fighter than Povetkin. Not as accomplished, but definitely more defensive. Listen, Parker he's got a sparring partner mentality, right? He's not technically better than
Thank you.
Them skills could never win Parker a gold medal. Parker, let me break Joseph Parker down to you, yeah? Parker's got zero defense, yeah? Parker cannot block a left hook. That's why he got dropped by Dillian White. You can't block a left hook. You back Parker up, you can't fight. Povetkin can fight going forward. Povetkin can fight going back. Povetkin can fight side to side. Povetkin is complete. He can go forward. He can go back. Povetkin's defense is his offense. So when you go at Povetkin, his defense, what my base is his offense, is you come at Povetkin, that's his defense, to throw more punches. Parker's defense is to leave his chin up in the air and run backwards in straight lines. So don't tell me about Parker being a more technically better fighter than Povetkin. Really? I don't think so. I think you're making things up as you go along, mate. What do you think here, guys? Fight Gamer says Povetkin is very skilled in Olympic gold medals. He's good at mixing things up, hooks, and he's very good speed and changes it up. Parker fights timid. If he grew balls, he'd be an elite fighter. He has. Yeah, that's great, but he isn't, and that's just the way it is.
Well, you used the perfect example. He has a sparring partner's mentality. That's perfect.
It.
That is that's what that. And you're right. A sparring partner is just there to give you work.
There you go, and that's what Joseph Parker is.
Yeah.
Parker dropped his bollocks in both fights. That's it. You're gonna say to me that Povetkin is of this. Povetkin is old school. Anybody who appreciates old school boxing will look at Povetkin. Right. So just don't dare. That's an insult to old school boxing. Don't dare compare Joseph Parker to Povetkin. That's blasphemy of the highest order. Because when you look at Joseph Parker, there's a guy there that wasn't prepared to put it on the line. And you got a guy like Povetkin who always puts it on the line. He's willing to engage. He's willing to stand in the pocket and say, you know what? Okay, you got something, bring it. Because I got something too. But just remember, when you're landing your shots, just make sure that you're ready to take what I got back coming back. Look at all Povetkin's fights. Guys, it's like to engage with Povetkin. What happens to them? Povetkin's style, there's a question also. Yes, Fight Gamer, it's a question mark.
Big question.
Joshua's chin is a question mark. Joshua fighting on the back foot is a question mark.
Exactly.
Joshua fighting against a guy that is probably got faster hands than him and is going to have the footwork to get inside him and close him down quickly is a question mark.
Joshua actually getting his hands back after every punch is a question mark.
There we go. Joshua knowing when to engage and when not to engage is a question mark.
Exactly.
You got a guy here who's battle tested over years. You know what I mean? No hype about him. He just, I got. Do you think Povetkin's better than Ortiz? Yes. I just explained that.
Heck yeah. Listen,
Ortiz never won. It wasn't even. Listen, Ortiz wasn't even good enough to be in the Olympic team. He was third in Cuba. Third. There was Mike Perez with somebody else, and then they had Ortiz.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
That's what Tyson Fury said. Well, okay, was he good enough to go to the Olympics, Bo?
Not by Cuban boxing standards. No, he was not.
Okay, that's it. Conversation's ended. Done.
As a matter of fact, the same guy would beat him every time when they would have to try out.
Mike Perez, Orlando Solis.
Orlando Solis used to beat him all the time.
Right. So Mike Perez, Orlando Solis, and what's it? Luis Ortiz. So talk to me.
Yeah, he was the third best heavyweight in Cuba. You're right.
So don't tell me nothing about no Luis Ortiz. You talk about a guy who never won Olympic gold medal, was a guy who's won Olympic gold medalist and has been around the top 3 for the last decade.
And let's just keep it real. This is something me and you talked about, and we joke and everything, but in all honesty and seriousness, Luis Ortiz's biggest win was a Brian Jennings already coming off of a loss. To this day, that was his biggest win. Now, people will say they will look at how he looked against Wilder, and I'm not taking nothing away. Yes, he's skillful, but you can't take how he looked against Wilder, who everybody from a boxing standpoint would outbox him. You see what I'm saying? So I need to see him in there with someone that's exceptionally taller than he is, and on par with the same skill set level as he is with the punching power. That will tell me more about him. And I'm half Cuban, and I'll say that.
That Fight Gamer said that Joshua took a good punch off of Klitschko, and Klitschko dropped him, but Klitschko didn't finish him off. Povetkin will finish him off. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Like, I actually would love to see you.
I think Ortiz will beat Povetkin. Oh no.
No, I don't think he beats Povetkin.
No.
I don't think I didn't think he would beat. I I gave him a chance against Joshua because I figured he was, from a skill standpoint, he was a better boxer, but I didn't think he could beat him. Wilder. I didn't think he could beat Wilder because I've never seen what it's like when he takes a punch. So I can't.
What did I say to you about the Ortiz thing about him taking a punch? What did I tell you about that?
Yeah.
I tell you.
Yeah.
Did my intel not come correct in the end?
Yeah. And you know what? And I think the only reason why the fight didn't get stopped early when he got dropped was because it was toward the end of the round.
Listen, I said to you,
so I give him credit for getting up.
I said, you look at Luis Ortiz's career. I said, you'd never see Luis Ortiz in with a big puncher. Never.
That's true.
And I know you talk about it's the stamina of Povetkin. Hold on. I'm sure Luis Ortiz had stamina problems against Bright Jennings. And hold on a second. I'm sure he had stamina problems against Wilder. I think that's one of the excuses about Ortiz is that he had stamina problems. So you bring Luis Ortiz up about his stamina, but wasn't the reason why you said that he got beat by Wilder was because he had stamina problems? So you got to be consistent. If Ortiz has got stamina problems and is 40 plus, then surely Povetkin's got stamina problems. If you want to say Povetkin's got stamina problems, so be consistent.
I like I said,
Ortiz will demolish Povetkin.
Oh, no, he will not. And I mean, okay, give me a fight. Give me a fight that you saw Ortiz fight someone of the caliber of Povetkin to make you feel like that. That's all I want to know. Just give me a fight where you saw him fight the caliber of fighter that Povetkin is that makes you feel like that. And that'll tell me everything I need to know, because you can't tell me Malik Scott, David Allen, and who was this last dude he fought. You can't tell me them are Povetkin caliber fighters, man. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah, and you know what's funny is some guys would do better. Some guys actually will fight better against bigger guys than when they fight somebody their size.
It's always said here, Bright Jennings, a loss doesn't take away Jennings' skill set. Stop. Let me put things in perspective to you, right? Bright Jennings had very little amateur pedigree. Povetkin's a gold medalist. Are you trying to compare Povetkin with Jennings? Stop. The second thing is Jennings didn't prepare for the fight the way he should have against Luis Ortiz. And Jennings, up to this day, still has question marks about whether Ortiz was tested for PEDs when they fought. Go back with us against Jennings. So there you go.
Here's my thing about that argument, and this is why people need to understand this. If you've been around boxing, you've been in boxing, here's what you have to understand. When a fighter's coming off of a loss, most fighters, when they come off of a loss, right? This is why coming off of a loss, fighters would take another fight, depending on how they lose and all of that. Why? Because from a mental standpoint, they have to get their mojo back, so to speak. Okay. When you come back from a loss, or you come back from being knocked out, or whatever the case is, even if you don't get knocked out, let's just say you take your first career loss, it does mess with you mentally. It really does mess with you mentally in a way. So I don't know what your mental makeup is, because you're coming off of this loss. I have to see you in another fight so I can judge your mental makeup.
Okay. The other thing is, people mentioned about this Povetkin thing about, he's off the PEDs now. But okay, if he was off the PEDs against David Price, the punching power looked the same to me. Punching power looked the same to me. You know, but I don't understand. I just don't get it. What do you think, Bob?
I think people go way too far out of their way to either make up excuses or try to prove or try to push their agenda for what they want to have. I mean, you know, if the guy's been tested, like I think, and for that Price fight, they were being heavily tested for PEDs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so like you said, and then if I'm not mistaken, I think some of the PEDs that he tested for was to help with was more or less for endurance, for an endurance factor, right?
Tyron Smith says, why didn't you blow Rudenko and Hamer? Rudenko and Hamer.
And Hammer?
Hammer. Oh, hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. Who blows away Hammer? Who's blown away Hamer? Tyson Fury didn't blow him away. Price got knocked out by him. Rudenko. Who knocks at Rudenko? Who knocks at Rudenko? I don't know anybody knocks at. Who knocks at Rudenko? Can somebody tell me who knocks at Rudenko? So are you saying that Ortiz isn't a better boxer than Price? Come on then, man. What?
He's probably talking to somebody that made a comment earlier.
Yeah, Povetkin knocked out Perez in a round. I don't see. The thing is, if Povetkin had come off the PEDs and he didn't have the punching power, yeah, maybe I'd say okay, yeah, you can see the significance there. But to me, he's fought big. They're big, strong guys you're looking at there. Hayne was a big, strong heavyweight. You know, he does take some moving, and he knocked out Price. Rudenko's another big, strong heavyweight. Marius Vac, who stops?
Who stops who?
Who's that?
I said no. What did you say? Who stopped who now?
Who stops Marius Vac? Nobody stops Marius Vac. I mean, I think Povetkin beat up Marius Vac, man. He beat him up round after round. Right, he's just beating him up. Outclassed. So I just listen. Derek Chisora knocked out Carlos Takam. Knocked him out. He didn't need the help of the referee. Dillian White dropped Joseph Parker. Let's use these same things. Because Price rocked Povetkin when he wasn't on PDs. Okay, Price also got knocked up by Povetkin. Are you telling me that Ortiz isn't as skilled as Price enough to land a big hand on Povetkin? There, you know where we're at now. We know where we're at. Okay, Bo, is there anything you want to say?
Okay, so are you? He said, "Wait a minute. Are you saying that Ortiz isn't what now?" Are you saying Ortiz isn't as skilled enough as Price?
I swear, I'm going to start doing my shows without a comment section because it's just
okay. Well, no, we're honestly, not. We're not saying that. Okay, let me ask this question. I'm gonna ask this again, right? We know that Luis Ortiz is a skillful heavyweight. This is something that we know. Okay, but what I'm saying is, give me a fight that you saw Luis Ortiz fight someone the caliber of Povetkin. Styles make fights. So give me a fight where Luis Ortiz fought someone the caliber of Povetkin to make you think that he can beat him.
A gold medalist or bronze medalist? Well, a bronze medalist has already beaten him. A bronze medalist has beaten him. Ortiz. A guy who's wild and not technically very good has beaten him. Knocked him out. Answer the question. Would Ortiz be a top 3 on Povetkin's resume?
Talking about a top 3 victory or a top 3? A top 3 victory? I mean, Luis Ortiz probably in the heavyweight division probably is in the top 5. So
period. Would Ortiz be the top 3 on Povetkin's resume?
The top 3 heavyweight Povetkin ever fought? See, that's hard to say because you gotta look at the guys that he beat and where they was and where they were at that time when he fought him. Because what Povetkin's been fighting how long now?
I can answer that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's top 3, bro.
Okay.
My man.
Considering the fact,
brother, hold on. Let me get you in. I know you're in, but let me get the volume up on this. This volume sorted. As you're whispering at the moment, brother.
Am I speaking loud?
Okay. Yeah. I can hear you, brother. Now you can.
Okay.
The floor is all yours, brother.
Yeah, he's top 3 simply based on resume and accomplishment and avoidance. These are the facts. The guy's my age, and people are avoiding him, righteously avoiding him. There has to be some credence lent to that. I don't care about the politics and the business or anything like that. At the end of the day, they're not fighting. They're not fighting the guy for a reason. It's just not Anthony Joshua. It's a lot of people. Dillian White has come up with creative measures not to fight Luis Ortiz. At every turn, there's no excuse. This guy, his disadvantage is his age, technically speaking. Yet people have gone out of their way to avoid him. So for Povetkin, you beat Vladimir Klitschko, I would say maybe just at the end of his prime, post-prime. And Vladimir Klitschko got knocked out by cans in his prime. So I would have to put Ortiz up there skill-wise all day, every day with anybody else. He would definitely be a top 3 win for Povetkin if he could beat him.
What are your thoughts on Povetkin versus Ortiz?
Povetkin versus Ortiz, death by punishment in 3 rounds. Ortiz.
So you say Ortiz beats Povetkin? He beats
Povetkin quickly. This is the thing about Povetkin. Povetkin likes to leap in on punches, especially on the, on his. I think it's his left hook. If I'm thinking correctly, he jumps in on the left hook. Ortiz's left. Or I'm sorry, his counter right hook straight left would be the perfect measure for that type of punch. I just think Povetkin, he has to do certain things against taller fighters. Luis Ortiz is a little bit closer to his size. I think that's more of pot shotting. I think that's going to be something where someone catches something very quickly because there won't be a lot of maneuvering in position. It's just a matter of time before Povetkin makes a mistake. Honestly, I think it's a good fight if Povetkin's up to it. What we've seen of Povetkin in his last few fights, I wouldn't say they're great outings, but again, Luis Ortiz is giving people the business at 38. So Deontay Wilder literally was moments from getting KO'd. Realistically, we saw that Deontay Wilder had the heart of a champion, had the wherewithal to stay up. He didn't go down. So like I always say, I didn't come to Deontay Wilder in the beginning. It really took me about 30 fights. In the last 10 fights, I've watched this guy graduate as far as his evolution as a boxer. And so when he took the punch from arguably the second hardest hitting heavyweight in the division and ate it, I had to give it to him. So Luis Ortiz, no one wants to face. The only guy that's faced him is Deontay Wilder. That's in the top 5. Mm-hmm. That's it. I mean, it speaks for itself. There's just a lot of avoidance in the game. I'm tired of it. I just want to see people fight, and not trash versus gold. I want to see gold on gold. The best fight the best. That's how I live.
What are your thoughts on this whole Povetkin story with Daniel Dubois and the sparring?
Stop getting beat up by bigger dudes like that. No, but the whole thing with that is the guy's preparing for a bigger fighter. Daniel Dubois is roughly the size of Anthony Joshua. And if the stories are true about the sparring, he's knocked out Anthony Joshua. So I would look at it as a way of testing yourself up against someone who can hit heavy and being able to endure certain levels of punishment and then being able to counter. We don't know what Povetkin's done against Dubois in the ring. We know that Dubois is a little bit stiff. He's young. He has power, but maybe on the scales in a fight, he's not as advanced as Anthony Joshua at this point because of where they're at in stages. But the one thing that's clear cut, we know that Dubois is heavy-handed, and that may be what he's facing. But maybe Joshua may be even faster, throwing punches than Dubois. So I really think it's a matter of him tempering himself to prepare for Anthony Joshua more than anything. Now, to me, you're getting a black eye, swollen face, 3.5, 4 weeks before a fight, you might need to pull back. At this point, you've proven what you need to do. Just go forward. You know how you're going to approach it. Now it's about the technical end.
Okay. You made a very interesting point about the Dubois thing. We're not hearing what's going on with Dubois. and that's probably a good thing for Povetkin's camp, because if he's hurt Dubois badly in sparring, then that doesn't want to get out to Joshua's camp.
Yeah. I mean, wait, ask that one more time. We can run it. I didn't quite comprehend that. I'm sorry.
I said if Joshua was to hear that Dubois was getting hurt in sparring, that wouldn't do good. And if you got knocked out in sparring, it wouldn't bode well for Joshua and his camp, because he knows he's coming to do serious business.
Well, Joshua is suffering a credibility issue as it is. So, people who are fans of Joshua, they're going to be fans of Joshua, but overall, he suffered a great deal of credibility issues this year. So if Povetkin's hurt, it does him no favors, because the first thing that's going to come out of detractors' mouth against Joshua is, hey, you fought a hurt Povetkin. He was hurt in sparring by Dubois, had a hurt eye. It was easy to knock him out if you can knock him out. Far as I know, Povetkin's never been knocked out.
That's it.
I don't even think he's been knocked down.
Yeah, so he's knocked down. Klitschko knocked him down a few times.
Okay.
Klitschko knocked him down. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that Klitschko fight for the life of me. But thing is, he's a guy. He's not an easy win. He's not an easy win on his feet. You got to knock him out is a task. And so far, Joshua has proven as his fights have escalated. He didn't knock out Parker, if I remember correct. He didn't even hurt Parker. The tougher the competition gets, the less dominant you see Anthony Joshua. There's a reason why Barry Hearn wants to wait 2 years and counter, in the belief that this guy needs to be ready for Deontay Wilder. Not only the age difference, but also he's a prospect with belts. It's just a fact, and people can say whatever they want. They can say, oh, he beat Klitschko. He beat a 41-year-old Klitschko. Okay. He didn't beat the champion Vladimir Klitschko. He beat 41-year-old Klitschko, who got up off the couch, was in the middle of a divorce, didn't have a tune-up fight. It's not the same guy. A tuned-up Vladimir Klitschko could have probably finished that fight when he knocked Joshua down. Okay, based on what I saw. So Povetkin against this guy, it's really a 50-50 fight, in my opinion, because Anthony Joshua is shown to be very straightforward, not a great lateral mover. If the guy's pedestrian, Anthony Joshua looks great. If the guy has some measure of return fire or ability to move, I don't see Anthony Joshua being able to I see him being flummoxed. And then that's the potential for him to get hurt. So, yeah, that's kind of how I see it. And forgive me, I'm a little incoherent this morning. I'm still trying to wake up.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've covered most things. What about the if, maybe, and possibly excuse people come up with?
People are always going to come up with excuses if they want to see it that way. But at the end of the day, I always say this: you are what your record says you are. Okay. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about the boxing record. I'm talking about all the things that go into the boxing record. Where was this opponent at when you fought him? Was he the guy in his prime, or was he the guy post-prime? Was he the guy on the rise? People elevate. So when people throw out names of certain fighters, like there's always the Rocky Marciano, the Rocky Marciano argument, which irks me. I'm like, oh yeah, he knocked out Joe Louis. Man, Joe Louis had like 80 fights, was punch drunk. And he was 37. He'd been through many, many wars. That's not the same Joe Louis. Okay. So again, when you put names on resumes, you need to see what point the names are in their careers before you cast judgment. A George Foreman at 40 was actually a better skilled fighter than a George Foreman at 25, 26.
Absolutely.
But you would know that if you watched the fights instead of just looked at the records.
Yeah, yep. I said that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't. I just had came in, so I didn't hear most of anything that you said. But it's just one of those things you don't know until you actually see it to analyze it for yourself. And when people, I'm a boxing head. I've been in the ring. If people actually watch boxing instead of go off of records and listings on names, they'll see and be honest with themselves. Hey, did this guy really fight the best version of this guy? Anthony Joshua has not fought the best version of anyone. Okay. Alexander Povetkin fought a better version of Klitschko, but Alexander Povetkin's 38, 39 years old at this point. I haven't seen enough of him lately to say how declined his skill set is. But Joshua had the opportunity to fight the best possible fight he could fight. People can try to milk it all they want. They can try to say, well, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. All that stuff has been debunked. People on both sides have come out with the facts. And that's just what it is. It's not me stating it, it's them stating it. Barry Hearn contradicted his son on everything that he was talking about a few days ago. So again, not my words. Y'all can look up the interview. I just want to see the best fight the best. And I believe, based on what I'm seeing lately, Wilder's the top guy. Ortiz is number 2. And it's going to be a toss-up. If Fury is ready in November to bring it, then that's your top 3. Anthony Joshua's a question mark, and Brian Jennings should be in the top 10. My personal opinion.
Well, what about if Povetkin beats Joshua? What happens then?
Shit, here comes another soap opera with the belts, because we already know the history with Povetkin and Wilder when it comes to PEDs and that fight not going down because he pops. Okay, so I think you see another stalemate. He may finagle the belts for a year or more because he's long in the tooth already. So, the thing is, the heavyweight division is literally like the Game of Thrones right now. You have to assassinate somebody in order to just get an opportunity to fight. You gotta maneuver and manipulate just to get the opportunities to make fights. You got to throw out disinformation to get something else to happen on the other end of the equation. It's all bull.
There's this immediate rematch clauses. They don't bode well for the fighter that's got his ass kicked.
Nope.
They don't bode well, and it's how you get knocked out or how you get beat. Now I know that Kovalev is going to exercise his rematch clause against Alvarez.
Yeah,
he's exercised it because he's arrogant and he hasn't taken into consideration that maybe Alvarez is a better fighter than him. So he'll go back and say, I just had a rough night. That's all it was. And he'll go back and train again. I won't correct the mistakes. He'll come and fight the same way again. And Alvarez will beat him probably quicker the second time round.
Well, before I answer that, your boy McD in the chat is laughing Wilder at top, but Wilder is top. I'm sorry. You can laugh all you want. Quality of opposition, 40 fights, 39 KOs. Doesn't matter what you believe. At the end of the day, you are what your record says you are. Deontay Wilder's record says he knocks people what they call the fuck out. It's just the truth. Okay.
The other thing is people also take their mindset as a fighter's mindset. If Joshua were to get beat by Povetkin, a lot of things, the mental side of it, the game, all the people that were supporting him now backing away from him, all that momentum he had, can he come back after that so quickly? Because they might want the rematch against Povetkin, because Povetkin's not going to stick around. Mentally, will he believe in himself? I mean, I hear stories that Joshua's got confidence issues, and that's why he won't fight. If he's got confidence issue against Wilder, then why would he suddenly have confidence if he got beat by Povetkin to come back and have an immediate rematch? I don't get all that.
Well, in the I'm going to answer. I'm seeing the chat too. I'm itchy, so I want to scratch it. But in a minute, the thing with these immediate rematch clauses, it's a way to retain the belts in circulation for those individuals. It's an easy opportunity to get the belt back, or to to keep other people out. It's all business, and it has nothing to do with excitement. Listen, immediate rematches are for exciting first fights, not knockout.
Mm-hmm.
If you get knocked out clean, your ass goes to the back of the bus. Period. You know, if you get a first round KO, that doesn't warrant a rematch. Okay.
Hold on. I've just got to add something here. Somebody said Wilder is avoiding White. So Wilder is going to fight the number one, the linear heavyweight champion in Tyson Fury, but he's avoiding White, who's never been a world champion. Yeah, that. I get that.
He avoided Dylan White to fight a more dangerous Luis Ortiz, but he's avoiding Dylan White. Okay.
It makes absolutely no logic. Dillian White should be called Jukes. He jukes everybody. If he was a running back, he'd be Barry Sanders. He jukes so many people. And Dillian White, I don't know what the marketing is like in the UK, but it's obvious.
Fury is not dangerous. Oh dear.
Fury is more dangerous than Dillian White could ever be. Come on now. Yeah, I mean, I'm serious. Boxing fans, guys, I'm a boxing fan. Anybody that has a pair of eyes, okay, you don't have to have ears to watch boxing. You just need some eyes. 20/20 preferably, okay? You need to look at the difference in skill sets here. I was talking to my boy McGregor Boxing Stars about this the other day. He's from Ireland, okay? And the guy tries to see it as it is. Dillian White, when he couldn't get his way in the WBC, he switched to another sanctioning body. Dillian White is trying to maneuver, and probably at the behest of Eddie Hearn, okay, to get belts. This is all about prestige, and I wish people would put this together. He who has the belts brings prestige to themselves and the business that they're associated with. Okay, it doesn't matter who has the belts in Matchroom Boxing, okay, as long as they had the belts, because that brings the prestige to Matchroom. Okay, Matchroom is obviously the top promotion or the top two promotions in the UK. We don't know them in the US. They don't have a presence, okay, and that's just the facts. And now with the Showtime deal happening, that's almost completely evaporated. The thing is, you have to understand what this is. If the sanctioning bodies were true and about the sport, the best would be fighting the best. It would be clear cut. There is no avoidance. Dillian White, who has he fought in his life that even remotely comes to him justifiably fighting Deontay Wilder? Dominic Breazeale, who is the mandatory, because Suleiman from the WBC explained why Ortiz wasn't the mandatory fight, because he skipped on fights. Dominic Breazeale's the mandatory. Dominic Breazeale came out last week, or the end of the week before. Hey, I'll give you a fight. We can decide who's the mandatory. Have you heard a response from Dillian White? No. You know, these are the things that may not be getting back to the UK. These are the things, and it's been stated plainly and loudly. Okay, these are not fictions. These are not This is not propaganda. Okay, these people are stating this. We report this stuff every day. Okay, and believe me, if Deontay Wilder wasn't the top guy at heavyweight, I wouldn't be saying it. If Anthony Joshua was the top guy at heavyweight, I would be saying it.
Well, that's probably the only spot me and you disagree on right there. But that's a topic for another.
I'm cutting this chat here because I'm getting practice. It's annoying. It's talking to people who don't quite get what.
You said what?
I said he said he's cutting the chat. No, I said that's probably the only thing you said that I disagree with, and that's like and that's a topic we could talk about later. But I do want to touch on something that you mentioned earlier, and that is outside of that. See, here's my issue with Dillian White was White said that he would knock out Luis Ortiz within 3 rounds. And when you had a chance to fight him, when the WBC ordered it, you didn't take the fight. Okay. You also criticized Kubrat Pulev. Well, when the IBF ordered the mandatory, you didn't take it. And those are things that you have to look. So when people bring up, well, Wilder's avoiding White. Well, White avoided Ortiz and Kubrat Pulev to take a lighter fight in Joseph Parker, because Joseph Parker is like we said earlier. Sometimes Joseph Parker has that mentality of a sparring partner, like that. He's not as dangerous as the other two guys.
Yeah. I thought I'd just cut the chat that chat section because it's just talking about things that most of the time it's been fed back by propaganda. People are reading up propaganda stories and fake news and bringing it in, and then we having to answer to that. And I'm not doing it no more. I'm fed up with it.
Well, I would just like to shoot one more thing in the head before we move on. Someone is talking about how many top 10 people Wilder has fought. He fought the #1 contender in Ortiz. That's all that needs to be said. I think Areola was in the top 10.
Yep.
So Molina was in the top 10. Spilka was in the top 10, and Washington actually was number 10.
Dubois.
Yeah, right. Washington and Dubois was ranked exactly number 10. And matter of fact, Washington fight took place because he was going to fight the number 11 guy, but that guy tested positive, so he fought Gerald Washington.
We got to stop the BS. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in the UK. What brings up this BS stuff? But listen, someone said they believe that Dillian White was the most improved guy in the UK. Again, the UK is a different animal than the beast in America or in Latin America. It's not the same level. It's just not the same level. And
all the Eastern Europeans, I have to say.
Exactly. It's not the same level of fighter. It's like different levels of soccer. Okay. And in the UK, great boxing tradition, great support for the sport. That's undeniable. But when it comes to skills, show me an encyclopedic list of historic dynastic champions at heavyweight or anything else in boxing. There are certain divisions where the UK rules, but heavyweight hasn't been that traditionally. Okay. And top level anything. And I see that there's pride there and this and that, but there shouldn't be all this finagling. Okay. If you're the best, bring your ass over here and fight. There shouldn't be any disputes. Go ahead.
Lennox Lewis did it.
Lennox Lewis did it. Nigel Benton
did it.
Nigel Benton came over here and fought Gerald McClellan.
Yeah. Well, that fight was in the UK, but he came and fought Doug DeWitt in America.
But I said that with the exclusion of Lennox Lewis because those are things that I know. But when you start going into the meat and potatoes of it, all right, it's ... X. You see what I'm getting at? And so,
I got you.
That's why Joe Joyce came over here.
Right. But who's Joe Joyce right now?
Exactly. A lot of these people in the UK are rating Joe Joyce, but he hasn't fought anybody.
No. But I'm saying Joe Joyce, that's why he came over here to the US for that purpose that we're talking about, to test himself.
I totally commend that. That's what it takes. He didn't get the best trainer, but he did get an American trainer, So, but I just see that time is going to tell. When there's a reason why Joshua didn't make the fight in America. There's a lot of reasons. Okay, I know England hates it. I'm trying to get out of it, man. It's just
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go there because it's just like
okay, I'm done.
It is what it is, isn't it? Well, you understand, and to me, I don't think we need to no longer. To me, it's like justifying stuff that should be in a rubbish bin. It's rubbish, belongs in rubbish bin. Keep it in rubbish bin. That's it. It's rubbish because we're repeating things that if people took the time to do the research in it, and then you've got people that have got agendas, and their agendas is just to be trolls. So why we spend time talking with trolls? I've got no idea whatsoever. So I've just shut the chat down. It'll be very rare to chat up when I do shows in future because if you look at chat sections in general. And you go any YouTube channel, 95% is incoherent garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And you've only got a 5% of people that really want to talk boxing. People bring up all other things. Half the time in the chat room, they're talking about other fights. Nothing to do with the topic you're talking about. You got some people, very few people, that really talk sense, but the rest of them, they're coming out of left field with some stuff that you've just never heard of and never don't make no sense. You can't put it together. So and then you end up having to defend. You have a logical debate, and then you ask them to break it down, and they can't break it down. That's not a conversation.
That's a troll. That's a trait of a troll.
But I want to address something that I heard one of you guys mention. Somebody said something about Dylan White being the best, most improved fighter or something like that.
Yeah, I never said that. You never heard me say
that. That was somebody said. Now, my question is, against who? Because if you're telling me Robert Helenius, who hadn't fought in 2 years, well, you're supposed to look good. The dude ain't fought in 2 damn years. If you're telling me a Lucas Brownie, old ass Lucas Brownie, who from a skill set standpoint, there's nothing there. You were supposed to beat that. You're gonna look good against that guy. You're telling me a David Allen? You're supposed to a 9-0 David Allen? You're supposed to look good against him. So what fight did he fight where you saw from a skill set standpoint, you saw improvement? I didn't see it against Derek Chisora. I didn't see it against Malcolm Tan. So, I mean, what fight did he fight where he fought someone that brought that out of him for you to tell me that he's an improved, skillful fighter?
I guess people say the Joseph Parker fight, but Joseph Parker only started fighting in the last 30 seconds of the fight.
Yeah, but he was taking baseball clubs to the back of the head. So, I mean, Joseph Parker was getting assaulted seriously outside the rules, and the referee was assisting in that ass beating. And that's the sad part about it. I've never seen such egregious refereeing in my life. Oh, I forgot. The Anthony Joshua Joseph Parker fight was just as bad. So
actually, yeah, you're right. It was.
So again, these are the things that I see as a guy that has a pair of eyes. And it doesn't matter who wins the fight. I might favor somebody, but if someone is just a better fighter and they win, they win. Period. That's kind of how Wilder won me over. He just kept winning, and he kept winning a certain way, because the boxer in me says, man, I do not like the way this guy fights. But I can't deny that when he touches you with that pepper spray, it's it.
Absolutely.
So
we're going to bring this to a close because I've gone on a lot longer than I was meant to finish this at 2:30. We're now 3:45. But thank you both. Where do people, first of all, yourself, Will Break, how do people get to subscribe to your channel? How do people find you?
Just type in World Breaker Fighting on YouTube. You can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, same handles. Hey, I do it every day. So, and I also am the business manager for BWTM. So everything going on behind the scenes, that's me. That's me back there.
Amen.
Working like an elf.
Absolutely. And shout out also to my man as well, Bo Bland from Truth and Facts about sports. So it's sports talk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Bo, let people know where they can find you.
Of course, you can find me right here with my brother from across the pond, Ingram Jones. You can also find me over at Three Kings Boxing. I'm the head of public relations as well as senior journalist. And then there's Truth_FactBox1, Instagram and Twitter. And man, just keep BWTM round for round. Three Kings Boxing, man, keep following us, and we're going to keep bringing you these conversations. We may not always agree. You may not always see our points, but we're going to give you the real and unbiased.
Fantastic stuff, Bo, there. Fantastic stuff for you as well, Adonis. I guess I will look to hear and see from you guys very soon. This is it from us from BWTM Sports, and we are out. Don't forget, Round for Round Boxing, the official channel BWTM is for everything Round for Round Boxing. See you soon. Take care.